Bible Talk Wednesday.
This is Bible Talk. With your host, Leader, the only one.
Your first loser.
I am closer to be better, to be the best, okay? So cut me some slack.
John Fumbly.
Bubba Fett. Attack mode.
Yep, I see that.
Attack mode.
Yep,
Attack mode.
yep.
I'm in attack mode right now.
Adrian A.I. Indelos.
I'm a man. I fix things. Cook barbecue and fix things.
This is Bible Talk.
Now, the question is, the leader on mute this time. Can y'all hear me?
I can. I don't know about the viewers. You should ask them.
Dude, let's go, bro. Let's go. Hey, everybody. Welcome, everybody to Bible Talk. I am your host, Leader, the only one. And I'm so happy that all y'all are here. I got to introduce my team. I'm going to start with the far guy all the way over there is my duo, the one that I game with every single night, my best online friend, the guy who carries me real hard in Apex, and he has just don't die. Don't die. My duo, John's Fumbly.
I was just so taken back by his statement.
It's a great statement, man. How are you, baby?
It's a lie. A bold lie.
No, man. It's so true. It's good. And then the one and only putting up a show. Because if there's anybody in this group that knows how to party, Mr. AI Adrian Indolos. What's up, AI? How are you, baby?
What's up?
What's
good.
up? So tell us about this outfit you got going on. What's happening over there in yonder, wherever you are at?
Well, I'm actually only about like 17 miles south of Leader, so we're kind of in the same pickle here. A little icicle pickle that is North Texas. It's a bit chilly, so I got my snow goggles on. So whenever I take my dog out to go poop, my eyes are protected from the cold. Because you gotta watch out for those poopsicles.
The poopsicles. Listen, man, I see that you also got a little bit of a party. Is that has to do with anything going on, or
no? It just looks really cool with a mirror reflection of my snow goggles. So
okay,
it's true.
Let's get you some music. Let's see what you got. Want to see some moves? Floor is yours, AI. There's no music though. Can you hear it? Let's go.
Oh, we got to build up.
Yeah, there you go.
Waiting for that beat to drop.
I don't think it ever drops it. Oh, there you go. Kinda. There you go. It's just really slow to get up there. Well, welcome everybody. This is it. This is the group. We're just to let you guys know what Bible Talk is. We're just a group of guys who really enjoy talking about the Bible. We are all gamers, and this started as a stream, me streaming video games, a bunch with John actually. So he used to stream a bunch as well. And one day we got together and said, "Yeah, what's up, yeah? What's up?"
Honestly, no, because we're talking about it. Like, we're talking about gaming, and man, like, I have been gaming nonstop. The last 48 hours with the new DLC release on Destiny 2, The Witch Queen.
Is it good?
Me and the boys. Oh yeah, new Void 3.0. Just like Gouda cheese, kind of good. But anyways, I've been thinking about, like, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to start streaming again.
You should.
But I'm gonna put this out there for the metaverse and for you guys. Like, I want to come up with like a sick. Like, I don't want it. Like, I am AI. I get that, but like, I need a gaming brand.
Yeah, you do.
So I'm thinking about, like, I need some ideas, but something with photography, because obviously I'm a photographer. So like, chat, anyone watching right now, like, if you have any ideas with the word like photo or like just something, I don't know.
AI snap, bro. That's it.
Nah, I want something a little bit more like meaner, like photoxic
Angrier.
or
Oh my
like
gosh.
photoraptor or something. I don't know.
This is like if you were making like a MySpace page.
Yeah, totally.
The names
Yeah.
My name's AI, but my friends call me Phototronic.
Yes. I'm
So
actually
good.
1,000% for that.
So good. Guys, this is who we are. This is it. Gamers who just nerds about uh games and Bible, I guess.
Crazy
Uh,
guy.
and so welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. What we do on the show, and I explain to you guys the rules here real quick. We just go through typically through a topic. We're on part 2 of our love series, which started off pretty hot. We have over 119 verses and stored over there getting ready for you guys, but we selected maybe like 20 of them for a 5-part series, which could extend to a bazillion part series because love is a huge topic. But hey, what we do is we get together, we read about it, we chat, we answer questions with you guys on the chat. We like to talk to you guys all the time, and so that's the way it works. What we do not do is we don't fight you here. Sometimes we do talk about controversial items, but not in an intention of trying to fight y'all or come out a certain way. It's more like, hey, it happened to be in the Bible what we're reading right now, and we gotta mention it type of thing. Now, having said that, though, if you do want to talk to us and I want to talk controversial stuff and you have some questions that you may want some answers for, Discord's right there. That's where we go. That's where we talk. That's where we chill. That's where we game every single night. That's where we pray together. Travis mentioned earlier, where is your message, Travis? Because I got to put you on the screen. Hey, fam, if you need prayers, let us know. We'd love to pray for you. If you want to keep it private, message us on Discord, like exactly what I'm saying. Go on Discord after the Bible study where we're going to hang out together. So that's what we do, guys. Welcome everybody. The first 10 minutes or so we just chat. We go through some good news because we started this during COVID, so it's always bad news out there. So we like to share a little bit of good news that we have between one another. You guys get to know us a little bit better, and we get to smile a little bit, maybe laugh a little bit, or just share with you guys some good stuff out there. And we like to hear from you guys. So chat, what's some good news you got for us this week? Bada bee, bada boom. Okay. Mr. Party Man, give us some good news, fam. What you got?
Let's see here. It's been roughly like 36 hours, a little bit more, I guess. Since the new Witch Queen DLC arrived for Destiny 2. So for those of you who don't know, like, I am a Destiny gamer. Been playing since D1, right? Old school. And the new Witch Queen is a new like overhaul, and basically it's the new year 5 expansion. I don't know the proper terminology, but anyways, so like yesterday 11 a.m. was the launch, and luckily I only had to wait like 8 minutes to log in because obviously the servers are always like super packed on launch day.
Oh wow.
And yeah, right, only 8 minutes. I got then like around like 11:02, so it wasn't like right at 11, but only had to wait like 8 minutes. So kudos to Bungie, at Bungie, whatever thing, right? Like, shout out to you guys, actually doing a pretty decent job with this launch. And then yeah, like me and the boys in the Discord server, I mean, I'm almost already at like the soft level cap of 1500. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but basically I've been grinding for like about, I don't know, I think I probably already put in like close to 12 hours in the last 2 days. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Rookie numbers. Gotta get those numbers up, baby. Gotta get those numbers up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
what's your light level, John? What's your light level? Where are you at?
7.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Yes, sir.
Closer to number 1.
Yo.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Jumbo real quick. Couple people say good news. I'm alive today. God bless me, and that's all of us. His mercy is great. And then Isabella, who's watching. Hey, howdy, Isabella. Hope you're having a great time. Isabella is my sister-in-law. She says good news is that God has brought her a lot of joy through the youth group in church. She just found a youth group in church on Wednesday nights, which canceled today. Hey, Kyle. Thank you so much, Kyle. Have a great night too, man. Thank you for stopping by. Give us some good news, man. If you have any good news, we're going through good news right now. Okay, John, shoot. What good news you got for us?
Good news. My wife is very, very intense when it comes to coffee cups, and I managed to thief hers.
Okay,
This is one
wow.
of her favorite coffee cups.
Uh
It is Happy from the award-winning anime Fairy Tale. I forgot it for a second.
Ooh, I was gonna say, ooh, don't choke, bro. Don't choke. Ooh, look at that technique, bro.
With a
Ah,
pinky.
oof.
Delicious.
Okay, good. Great good news from you. For me, you boys, honestly, dude, just had a solid week. Play some good. Whoa, this is gonna spark some fire.
Oh.
Whoa, Lauren,
You just outed
oof,
yourself, John.
yikes, yikes.
I did. Well, she is
He's
sitting
snitching
right.
on himself.
She is sitting right next to me, so she doesn't. She didn't notice it. It'd be weird, you know.
Okay.
So you know.
Yeah, you're still on the show though.
It's
She
really
hasn't
fun.
punched you
It's true.
or
It
anything.
probably won't be the same as soon as the cameras are off. Just like
Yeah. Oof, it's over.
yep,
It's over.
she's
Okay,
gonna
we'll
throw
leave the
something,
cameras
go
on
right
to
through
keep
my
you
throat.
safe.
You know
No,
what?
no,
I
no.
appreciate that.
We got you. We got you, fam.
I thought someone
Oof,
was coming
oof.
for me for a second there.
Oof. Good reaction though. I saw you. Quick feet right there.
Now dodge them shoes, them chocolate.
Good news for me, you guys. I had a great time playing tennis this week. Getting ready for season to start, so I'm pumped. UST starting in a couple weeks, so we're practicing a bunch with the team, and we just got awarded a money tournament in McClelland, which is one of my facilities. So super exciting! It's the first one in the company ever, and we can't wait to
Hey,
have a
there's
little
prize money.
Yes, $325 first place, $100 second place.
Each
First time
person or
ever.
split
Bet.
up.
That's a
Bet.
sanctioned
Let's go.
official tournament. So it's super exciting. So I can't wait to have all the people
Okay.
play over there. So it's good news, man.
Got
It's
it.
good
I'm in.
times.
Sign me up right now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Boom.
Let's go
Done.
right now.
Done. Done.
Okay.
Done. See you there.
Just put me in first. Give me the first seed. Let's go.
I got you. I got you.
There's seats.
First seed. Yeah, there's seeds. You know,
Oh.
it's a bracket,
Like a
right?
tournament.
And, you know.
Oh, I thought you all just kind of sat in a big old circle around the tennis court. And clapped like
Yeah,
this.
sometimes it's just for when we're sometimes that happens when we are about to tell like scary stories at night.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
mhm.
want to get into tennis.
It's fun. You
Yeah,
should.
I bet it is.
Well, boys, welcome everybody, boys and girls, welcome to the show. We're about to get started. You can follow us all at well, actually, real quick, because I got to do this just in case whenever this goes up to Spotify, iTunes, which will be sooner rather than later, or later rather than sooner. You'll never know, but I have to do this. This is Leader the Only One, your host with the most at Leader the Only One everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My duo, the show, John's Fumbly at what, John? What are you? Where?
At John's Fumbly on Instagram and
Okay.
Twitter. Don't go on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. It's bad.
Okay.
I think that's it. Oh, and Twitch.
Okay. And the co-star of the show, Adrian Angelos, at what, my duo? Or my
Just
co-star? of the show?
Adrian ADREAN_I. You can find me on the gram and on TikTok. And I have a Twitch, but I don't really use it anymore for now.
Coming back soon.
We'll see.
Coming back soon.
Coming back soon. But we'll see. I gotta come up with a gaming brand. But before we get the show started, can I give one little shout out?
Yeah, do it. Go for it.
Happy birthday, Dad! Right, it's my dad's 54th birthday today, as of today. And my sister's is in 2 days. But fun story, just for the general crowd. My dad celebrated his birthday in the hospital while my mom was waiting to give birth to my sister.
Oh,
What was
wow.
that, 22 years ago, 23? I forget how old my sister is. Anyways, yeah. But so just a shout out to Pops. Love you, Dad.
Pretty dope. Okay. There he goes. There he goes, guys. So let's get rolling. This is Bible Study. Welcome everybody to Bible Study Season 2, Episode 16. This is Love Series Part 2. And as usual, I missed a message. Sorry. Gabby says, great news is God allow us to enjoy another day. Also, school got canceled. and she's happy about that because of the snow.
Woo!
Let's go. Oh, mind you guys, it took forever for the bot to do this, but there he goes. A shout out to Adrian. That's a way to contact him right there. He do be on his phone texting, and so we can try to see what he's texting. We'll try real hard through his.
I'm trying to get
Chris to Crown. Let's go, bro.
I'm trying to get Cross to Crown Gaming to hop on.
Yeah, bro. Let's do it.
He's live on TikTok right now, so I'm trying to get him on the show.
Let's go.
I think
he's probably live on Twitch as well.
Yeah, he's doing a Bible study. I think they're in James.
Yeah, they're in James. They just finished Romans too. Shout out to them, by the way. Huge show. Okay, let's get it started. Adrian, you are distracted, so we're not gonna do the recap with you while you try to get this guy in. Or do you want to do the recap?
Fine.
You ready?
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Fine. Let's do it. I will read the Bible verses this episode.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, okay, John, now you're on the spot.
Didn't you see the no-nos? Didn't you see it? I don't want to do the recap.
You do the recap.
You think I can remember things a week ago? I can't remember things yesterday. I don't know what I did.
Come on, Goldfish. You got this, Goldfish. I believe.
Dory, let's go. Let's go, Dory.
Let me look at the notes.
Okay. They do be right there, dude. Easy peasy.
What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
I was gonna say that. Come on, Adrian, let me do it.
Adrian, you know the rules. If he's gonna do the thing, he does the thing.
I was
not
literally
you,
gonna
sir.
do that.
Just crushed it.
I have nothing now. I have literally no content. That was it. That's all I had.
Nailed it.
Well, we went over what is love, right? I don't remember the exact points we hit, but it's good.
This is gonna be a disaster.
The question mark was everything. And he is love unfailing, which is so true, guys. Love one another.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, John, I give you
I like it.
-2 out of 10 for the recap. You tried.
Expect anything.
You tried. You tried that, and that's okay.
I didn't try at all, guys. That was garbage.
Fam, we went over 1 Corinthians 13, which is a chapter of love, bro. We talk about
a solid half hour.
Oh, that's
true.
Yes.
Actually on the first.
That was the love chapter
episode.
too. So what the actual attributes of love are.
Yes, and the definition of it, right? What it looked like,
yeah.
and so on and so forth. This guy Dory, I gotta be an emo to him.
I every time you guys ask me to do this, it always goes this way. Every time.
Dude, we also talk about how amazing his love is in regards of seeing it from the Old Testament versus the New Testament standpoint, because it was different for the people that have seen him versus the people that were hoping to see him one day. We talk about how the psalmist was the amount of faith and hope of his love is massive for someone that's never seen him, or there's no historical recap about him. And then we jump back another to Jesus talking to his disciples, right? And how big of a deal was loving one another. So you kind of said it, you just missed the whole Bible.
She's got to have more confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think I said that with maximum confidence, minimum effort, minimum content.
I can definitely hear the question marks in your recap. So
yeah. Because all I have is, what is love? Everything?
Baby, to love me.
That's all I had.
The loving. Well, fam, let's jump into this week. Can we do that? Are we ready to do that? Are you ready to read, Adrian? Because now you're reading. Why is my e-sword? Try capturing a different screen. Okay, e-sword. I'm on. Take you down. You'll e-sword. By the way, I'm gonna speak about e-sword real quick as well. I do this. E-sword is the app that we use every single week. The reason why we like it so much, or I like it so much, is because I get access to a lot of the Bible, so I can read parallel and different versions, because English has been written or rewritten, or the Bible has been rewritten so many times and translated and so on and so forth, that it's kind of, sometimes we lose stuff within translations, right? And so there he goes. This is the one and only app. And what's really cool about it is I I get to access the original Hebrew and Greek, which is super cool. It's in the King James version with the Strong Dictionary, so I get to access what the actual word means, based on the original language. It's a Greek word, and it's super cool because speaking of love, you're gonna find out that in the Bible there's at least 3 different ways to say love, and all of them are very, very different. Also, shout out to Chris. A funny story. I want to go a little bit on a tangent here, real quick. Chris is a guy that I met at the car wash this week, and he had this King Jesus sweatshirt. It's pretty cool. We ended up talking just about Jesus and the Bible, and it's amazing. And he shared with me John chapter 21. As I was sharing him about eSword, I was showing him eSword on my iPad, and it was so cool to go back and forth. Just as a great example there, I don't know if we're gonna get to it in this series or not, but Peter, Jesus tells Peter that, "Hey, dude, do you love me?" Peter says, "I do," and then Jesus says, "Well, then take care of my sheep," right? And then Jesus asks again, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter says, "Yes, I do. I love you." And then Jesus says, "Take care of my sheep." And until the third time, Peter really understood that it wasn't just any kind of love, because the way that Peter was, so Jesus was asking an agape word, right? I mean, we can just go there. Let's go over there real quick, because this is John chapter 21, verse, yeah. So here, right? 3 times, Jesus and Peter, right? So when I'm gonna read it in ISV first, and then we're going to do King Jesus. When they had finished breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" And Peter told him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus told him, "Feed my lambs," right? Then he asked him a second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter told him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus told him, "Take care of my sheep." Happens 3 times, and then on the third time is when Peter kind of realized something was different, right? Truly, I tell you with certainty, when you were young, you would fasten your belt and go wherever you liked. But now that you're old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will fasten the belt and take care where you don't want to go. Now, he said these things to show by what kind of death he would glorify God. After saying this, Jesus told him, "Keep following me." Now, when we read it like this, is not a big deal, but when we read it on the original language, so I'm gonna go through verse 15. Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, so Jonas, do you love me?" This is agape, the Greek word 25, which is one of the most important Greek words, um, I think ever. It comes from this root word for my Hebrew word, which is to breathe after this, that is to love, lover, right? Comparing to love in a social moral sense, but it's just love, to be loved, to love, or loved. You can compare it to Philius, which is the next word that Simon Peter uses. So, this is Peter replying, "Yeah, Lord, you know that I love you." So when I go to that one, that's not agape, that's filio. And filius just means to be friend, to be fond. You can use this to an individual, to an object, to have affection. So this is not love. So a really good example in the Bible, and speaking of love, is, for instance, I love Apex, bro. And I also love these 2 guys, and I love my wife. Tell me if that word is, the same amount of love applies to all those said things. Apex, these 2 guys, and my wife. Absolutely not. But English sucks so bad that they couldn't figure out how to make different words to describe this different stuff. And so they left it as love. And so that sucks. And hence we're reading like this, because you can then figure out, okay, Jesus was talking about true love. And Peter was responding, "Yeah, I like you. We're best friends. We hang out, we chill." And Jesus like, "No, bro, do you love me? Love me, real love." And Peter's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm your dude. I'm your guy. I'm your best friend. We chill. We hang out, And that was not what Jesus was trying to say. Right. And so it's really, really important to understand the difference in these words, and hence why we use eSword. So a little introduction to love. Shout out to you, Chris. This was all on you, buddy. Really good conversation. Appreciate all the stuff that you've been sending me, by the way. Random dude, random brother in Christ that we met at a car wash. So, okay, let's jump into this study, shall we, guys? We're ready. Actually, Adrian,
I
are you
stay
ready?
I am ready.
Okay, Colossians. We're gonna go to Colossians chapter 3, verse 14. Good sir.
Okay. How do you want me to do this?
Well, I mean, the master, the expert is John. So I don't know why you're asking me. You ask him.
Okay. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity.
John, you
One
might be
ring to
you
rule
mi-
them all.
you
That was
might
One
be
mission to
magnificent.
bind them.
outperformed, John.
No,
We might kick you out of
what
this
a
show.
shame.
There's no need for you anymore after
Sounds
that
How
kind
like
of
you need to
reading.
start
how
remembering, John.
unfortunate. I guess I'll be able to enjoy drinking my water and giving my opinion with no other effort put in.
Now you just have to start remembering things now.
Yeah, for real. Oh my gosh.
Come on, man. Okay, so this we put up to try to understand what does love does. By the way, you guys, if you guys truly want to know, 14, what kind of love is this? Is charity, which is agape, which is love, true love. See that? True love. So, just for you guys to know, not Filius. This is agape. And so let's talk about this. What does love does, right? What's the action, the love that the result of love comes by? It's like what would you call that, right? You have is this like a pronoun, right? Or a noun? And it represents something, right? And it's important to understand it as its own word, because there's a natural reaction to things that happen. So let's talk about that. First, I love that Paul's talking about ourselves above all things, because we just went, by the way, we studied this chapter earlier this is one of the first few episodes of season 1, where we talk about putting our eyes on God first. And it's a huge chapter of what Christians should do and shouldn't do. So it talks about, stop sinning and doing these things, anger. You guys remember this? We read this. It was awesome. And then in verse 12, Paul saying is like, hey, dude, dressed up with your new self, which is this idea of being born again, right? Which Jesus talked to Nicodemus in John chapter 3. And you're supposed to be tolerant, forgive one another, as Christ has forgiven. But most importantly, you need to clothe yourselves with love. What in the world does that even mean, John? How can one clothe themselves with love?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we still talking about the same verse?
Yes.
We're talking about 3:14, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So mine says, above all things, put on love, which would be your clothes, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. I mean, so it's talking about agape, right? Which is the 1 Corinthians 13 love, right? Which is love is patient, kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, does not dishonor others, it's not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, keeps no record of wrong, does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth, always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. So, I mean, when you're functioning with those as your foundation, right? And that's how you're loving others, with those, which is very hard to do all the time, constantly, right? It's almost impossible for things to be disharmonious, right? So if me and my wife Lauren are constantly acting to each other and interacting with each other while utilizing those principles, theoretically, right? I mean, we're still sinful, so it's going to be way harder than just saying it, but we would be in harmony forever, right? And so, I mean, there's more to it, right? Because Jesus is the source of love, right? God is the God of love, right? So it's, in my opinion, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? It's talking about how to interact with others, yourself, So you to others, but also Jesus to you and you to Jesus, right? Jesus is always offering you this kind of love, right? He's never going to hold grudges against you, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's the gospel, I guess. The more I think about it, right? This is the reason why Jesus Christ came to earth, to die for our sins and save us, right? Because he truly shows this love to us, and he expects us to show this love to others. Am I muted?
No, leader's muted.
No,
Leader,
I'm muted. I'm
Oh,
the
okay,
one who's
okay,
muted.
okay.
Yeah, no worries. I was just saying. I think Adrian can piggyback right of this. I got a question for you because you nailed the first part. I'm kind of curious, and this might be a little controversial because the second part of the verse is a word that I don't like much. Colossians 3, and that is unity because of what it represents today. But can you explain? Say we're assuming, Adrian, that you're fully clothed in love. How does love binds everything together in unity? How's that work?
Well, for me, I guess what it means is that like it's kind of a knock. Honestly, like I feel like Paul kind of referenced his teachings to the Corinthians, which we kind of covered last week. Because in First Corinthians, was it 3? Yeah, we talked about, First Corinthians 13. Yeah, so right, like the what is love chapter, right? And so like at the very beginning of it, and literally the first verse, right? If I speak in the tongues of men and angels, blah 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 blah. If I have faith that can move mountains, but have not loved, I am nothing, right? So without love, it's basically pointless. So the love is basically like the glue that kind of ties everything together. And if you really want to expand on it, like it was out of God's love that the universe even existed.
Yep.
Right? If you really want to go super metaphorical with it, right? And it was his love that like even created humans in the first place, right? So I feel like love is, it doesn't really matter which form, agape, eros, or like which form of
Filius.
love it is. Yeah, filios, right? Like it, like all of it is kind of like tied together into like agape love because that's like the origin of love. And so like, yeah, like I just feel like without love, then everything that we do, even with good intentions, is kind of meaningless. So, in this verse, right, just all of our works, everything that we, build, that sort of thing, everything is kind of tied together with that love, or else it's kind of pointless.
So I got a question for you. This might be a little controversial. I was going with this. It's like, how can love tie us with non-binary, not queer, non-gender, whatever, he, she, them, theirs, the whatever person? Because this is clear, right? That
Mm-hmm.
it's everything together, not just some stuff. Do you
Yeah.
guys believe this is even possible?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
How, John?
So
How?
it goes back to 1 verse 13. So let's say that we're building a relationship with someone who is non-binary, right? So you are to be patient with them. You are to be kind to them. You should not envy them. You're not to boast to them, right? You should not be proud. You should not dishonor them, right? You should not self-seek them, or you should not be self-seeking, right? So your objective shouldn't be focusing yourself in that relationship, right? You shouldn't be easily angered with that person, and you shouldn't keep a record of how many times they've wronged you. You shouldn't delight in evil, right? So you have to draw lines in the relationship. You have to rejoice with the truth, right? So when something in truth happens in their life, right, you rejoice in that, and you give them an example of rejoicing and happiness and joy within the truth of the lies that are in their life. Um, and then you should always protect, always trust, and always hope.
Okay.
I think the only one of those that might be difficult because it kind of blurs a line would be it does not dishonor others, right? Because a lot of the culture of the gender identity movement is you have to change your worldview in order to align with mine in order to not dishonor me, right? Which maybe my grasp of what dishonor means or honor in general isn't very firm, right? Mine's probably a bit more progressive with what the world has taught me rather than what the Bible actually says about it. But that one, it would be difficult for me to not dishonor someone if they are requiring me to interact with them a certain way. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just, that one's, I don't really understand how to love that part of love, how I would accomplish that without compromising my beliefs and hurting someone else's feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Let's move
You just
on
have
to
to remember that God still created them.
Oh
Of
yeah.
No
course.
matter what
100%.
lies, no matter what lies they bought into, no matter what the enemy has fed them to, whatever they've become, like God still made them. God still breathed life into them. You know, maybe they haven't accepted, you know, Jesus, God, and you know, accepted the Holy Spirit into themselves, but they still have, in my opinion, like they're still created in the image and likeness of God because God made them. So for me, I just have to peel back all the layers, right? Ogres are like onions, right? So are people. Like we just all have layers. Cakes have layers. People have layers. So if you just kind of just get down to the very bottom, like what it means to be human, right? And just, you know, you might not love all the layers that are on top, but if you can kind of look through that and just focus on the person, then I think it might be a little bit easier to love on that.
Well said. I like that. Let's continue because we got a bunch of stuff to go. We're gonna go to the Old Testament again. Let's go to Proverbs. I love that the Bible can be like that, right? That we can go back and forth, and it just, even though they were written hundreds and hundreds of years apart, still a thing where it kind of works pretty good with one another. I love this chapter, by the way, guys. Proverbs 3. It's one of the best chapters I think in the Bible. So
Fun fact: I have a tattoo of Proverbs 3.
nice.
Very cool.
Okay, Adrian, you're reading Proverbs 3,
All right.
verse 3 and 4.
Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man.
So we title this in our notes, Never Stop Loving. I think, and I'm going to start this one, I think it's quite easy to I mean, I'm going to give you guys the simplest of the examples, right? If I had a tough day and I couldn't eat, and I get home and I'm super hungry, and my wife is waiting for me. She's been cherishing the time where I get home, and I'm in a terrible mood, and I just want to eat, and I don't want to talk to her. I think it's very, very easy to forget to love, and that's a very simple, silly example. I think it can get much worse. Say, you know, one of your best friends stabbed you in the back, or you know, one of your brothers threw you under the bus for whatever reason, or your best friend abandoned you, right? Or you know, whatever the case may be. I think it's pretty easy to forget to love. At least for me, it is. And shame on us because it's one of the main characteristics that we're supposed to have as Christians. Is one of the most important things that we need to uphold and embrace, just like this chapter says, right? Even write it down in the tablets of our hearts and hold on to it and put it around our neck, right? That should be the cross that we put as a necklace. Shouldn't be a cross, should be a heart, you know. And I get it. I'm just being, you don't have to. I'm just saying, right? It's that form of living to where love is a priority and you never stop loving. I don't want to continue. I'm just gonna say that I've struggled, and I think a lot of us struggle with this. I'm first though there. I want to open the floor to you boys and see what you guys have to say in regards of finding this good favor and good reputation with God and man, right? I think business wise, I do okay, but I'm kind of curious with you guys as to how you not letting love get away from you or truth leave you impacts your everyday life and builds your relationship with God and other people. John,
That was a loaded question.
it is.
So it's I don't have a whole lot of opportunities in my life to not love people, right? It's pretty easy. Most of the people I interact with are pretty nice for the most part. Usually people that I interact with, since I work in the aftercare industry, they're usually in mourning, right? So they're usually, if they are aggressive, they're not aggressive towards me, right? Which makes loving and caring for those people much easier, right? And that's the whole objective of my company, is to be as loving as possible to everyone that we meet, our clients' clients, right? So it's kind of ingrained in like my business and like just how it is in general, right? So it's a bit easier in business, right? Because you can kind of disconnect and you don't have to stay in those situations long where it's hard to love people, right? I think the where I have the hardest time being loving is sometimes with my wife. You know what I mean? Because this is someone that you're spending all your time with, right? This
Mm-hmm.
is someone that knows all the little things about you, right? Like if I respond a certain way, she's going to know that I'm displeased or I'm angry or whatever, right? So I have to be careful just in like the small little mannerisms that I do to be loving. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit harder in a marriage because you're so much closer, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's just small things like you understand each other so much better that being loving goes deeper, right? If that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Like I have to be more loving inside of me,
Mm-hmm.
which is very difficult sometimes, and I'm not good at it because no one is, right? If I said that I was, then I'd be a dang dirty liar, and my wife would come over here, and you'd see a hand move across the screen, and it would get me. It'd get me right here because I'd see it coming, but I wouldn't do anything about it, you know. So it'd just be like she's watching me now. Now she's looking at me, and it'd be like
Well, you took her mug. You
I
deserve
did.
one.
You're right. That wasn't very loving. You're right.
Adrian, got
I
a
am the
question.
chiefest of sinners.
What a question for you, bud. You have a business in photography. Love following your TikTok. Love seeing your creative posts. By the way, I think it's awesome. The latest
Thank you.
one with your groom throwing away his groomsman was sick. Great
Oh,
idea.
the force push
The force
pose.
push. I love,
Yeah,
love, love that. Now I got
yeah,
a
yeah,
question.
yeah.
I can see you pouring out love through what you do in the business. Is it challenging for you? Is there days that you go out there and you're getting ready for a wedding, but the guys are just not it for you, or any aspect in your job that could tend to affect the amount of love that you put onto people, or not really? Is this not something that you is this simple for you to do? And if so, why?
It was not easy at first. It's for me, I feel like it's a skill almost at times that
Mm-hmm.
you have to practice. And for me, luckily I had practice in my previous companies that I worked for before starting my own, that when things didn't go my way, right? Like I would get like frustrated. It was hard to love, my client or whoever. And I mean, like I said, like it was just something that I had to practice over and over. I had to kind of humble myself, remind myself that I'm in the service industry, as a photographer, and that this is something that I teach to my apprentices and teach all the people that want to learn from me. The first thing I say is like, hey, like you are here for them. Like, yes, they're paying you for your expertise. They want you to give direction and take point, but it has to be in line for what they want, not what you want, right? So maybe you want this certain picture or certain pose, but if that makes them feel awkward or weird, like, hey, guess what? Tough it up. Like, tough cookie. Like you got to move on, because I've seen it happen time and time again where it kind of gets awkward where the photographer wants their way and a bride and groom are just uncomfortable with it. And that's just kind of a skill you have to practice. And I mean, there are times where, let's say, either like the mother of the bride or maybe like an uncooperative groom, maybe someone's just not having a good day, or maybe they're just having a rough start, because, you know, things happen. And again, like, I have a lot of empathy that I can sometimes kind of put myself in their shoes and just kind of think, hey, you know what? They're snapping at me, but I just got here, so there's no way they could be mad at me. What can I do to not just mend the situation, but how can I make it better for them, right? Like, let's say the bride woke up late, and then of course, does it put more pressure on me as a photographer to get us back on the timeline? 1,000%. But I'm gonna do that, not just out of like a good service, but like I want them to have an amazing day. I want them to have a memorable wedding day. And so I will give a little bit of extra effort, right? Maybe I was already giving 100%. Maybe I'll go 105, right? Or 110. Just give a little bit extra to make their day extra special. And then that return on an extra 10% effort in the long run, when they write you like a 5-star review, they use you for like future photo shoots and stuff like that. Like, it just like the fallout is tenfold if, you just kind of have a little bit of empathy and love on them just a little bit extra.
So
Just in my opinion.
I got a question for you though. Do you
Yeah.
think that can be done? You can love that way without God's help?
1,000% no.
Okay.
It's
because
hard.
you almost made it sound just now, and I sorry if I almost understood it incorrectly. It's almost sounded like you can it's more like something that you can be born with, or you can learn, like you can read a book and practice, or get a mentor like yourself and be able to do. And I disagree totally with that. I was gonna fight you if that was the case. I was like, I don't think this can be learned any other way than first God giving it to you, which He has, and I think you're very good at giving to others. But I was kind of curious if that was your thought process or not.
Well, let me answer this, and then
Yeah.
I'll pass it to John. Like, for me, it's human beings and their energy I always see as a gas tank, right? Or like, an electrical output, just like your phone. And there's a reason why we say in the health industry you need 8 hours of sleep, because you need to recharge. And that's just not just physically, emotionally, spiritually. That's why we go to church. That's why we put time into diving into the word and stuff like that, so that way we can recharge. And I think that's the same thing, with loving in a personal relationship with your spouse. Like, there needs to be a recharge point. There's the same thing with clients, with business relationships. And I mean, like we said in the first verse of today's episode, like, that all that love comes from the same form of agape. And so, like, there needs to be some sort of recharge as you practice how to love. There needs to be a source for that love in the first place. So I could not do what I do without that love first coming into me and giving to others.
Okay.
Something that's interesting, in my opinion, my version's a little bit different, the ESV. So, let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. The definition of forsake is...
what are you reading?
ESV.
What version?
ESV.
I don't have ESV. I got ASV.
You're good.
New International Version also said faithfulness. That's what I was reading, the NIV.
It's fine. That's not the word I'm focusing on. So to forsake something is to abandon it, right? Which implies that that he's saying that you are actively leaving something or letting go of something that you are in possession of, right?
Relinquishing.
Right. Exactly. So
forsaking.
Exactly.
Leaving. Refusing.
Exactly. So in this situation, right, I'm pretty sure he's talking to Christians, right, or men of God, right? I don't know exactly, but in this situation, we have love, right? We have God's love, and we have to decide not to relinquish that love in favor of our sinful nature, right? So Adrian is correct, right? It is something that we possess, right? But you are also correct in that it obviously doesn't come from us, right? Because sinful people who don't have Christ, don't have this kind of love. I think that they can mimic this kind of love, but they can't.
Phileus.
Well, I think they can mimic, I don't think that they can truly love because they don't have God as an example of that, right? You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's my opinion, but which is worthless. But
It's okay.
I think that's an important distinction. And this is actually my favorite part is 4. So you will find favor and good success in the sight of God and man, right?
Yeah.
So doing this isn't only going to help you be successful in life. It's in terms of like business and your relationships with others, but also God will show you favor and love you, and it will bring you success in God's eyes, which is huge. So that's like an active thing you can do. Just by not letting go of something you possess, you will be successful in life.
So you're telling me to hold my Bitcoin for as long as possible?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, bro. I read a story the other day of a guy who bought one large pizza from Pizza Hut
for 10,000 Bitcoins.
For 10,000 Bitcoins. This was before it blew up.
Yep.
He would have, I think it was like $80 million he spent on that pizza now. It's ridiculous.
Incredible. Okay, good. Yeah, I was scared. I knew the answer, Adrian, to my question. I knew you're not going to not say no. I think it was really cool that you share the almost like the result of the fruit, right? It's almost like you spreading the love, but I really want to make sure that we didn't miss the fact of where that fruit comes from. Like we can talk about the apple, but we don't talk enough about the tree, then it's a problem. Oh, Chris is here, you guys. So his birthday. Guys, good. This is Chris, the guy that I met at the car wash.
What up,
amazing, brother. He prayed for me right in there. I said, "Hey, brother, I need some prayer," and he just he prayed for me, and he sent me a prophecy today from a pastor in Canada. It's really crazy to see. By the way, guys, we need to talk about prophecies one day because I am weak when it comes down to prophecies. I have a hard time believing, and I think the Christians that are more in the flesh have done a really good job at twisting prophecies and speaking in tongues and emotional stuff. But I do believe that's something very powerful. It's written in Romans chapter 12 as a gift. So a lot of people have the gift of prophecies. And coming from the guy that he sent me, a pastor, and I think it's maybe one of his apostles from Chris in Canada. It looked really good to me, and it was amazing. I was like, wow, this guy and what he prophesies is happening. So it's pretty cool. We need to talk about that. Put a mental note, you guys. I know that, John, you'll forget. Adrian, put a mental note in your head about that we need to talk to prophecies at some point. Maybe after this, it'll be really cool because I think we talk about it briefly when we were talking about what was our series about. What was that series about? The prophecies.
It was the gifts.
The gifts. That's right.
Yeah.
And then we talk about how incredible was the chances of the prophecies being achieved by Jesus.
That's right. Yep.
Unbelievable, right? Like the numbers are sick. You know, 1,000,000 to 1 harder than the Big Bang to happen, and yet Jesus did them all. So there's still a few of them left that will happen when his second coming and stuff. Okay, let's move on because we got a bunch of stuff to do. Apostle, oh, here he goes. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Jonathan Ferguson, and he's here in Dallas. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh wow, I thought he was in Canada. His prophecy was Canadian. Yeah, I got it so wrong. The guy did the prophecy out of a year ago in regards of Canada, and it's been is going through it right now. I don't know if it's been fulfilled or it's happening right now. It's about to be fulfilled. It's pretty crazy, super nuts. Okay, thank you for that, Chris. Love you, man. Thank you for stopping by. Really means a lot. Okay, let's move on. We got to read First John. We got to read 2 verses in First John today, and we're gonna close with those. So First John, chapter 4, verse 16. Adrian, you ready?
I'm always ready.
Let's go, baby.
And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. That's what I have.
Wow, bro, you're missing the most important sentence in the history of humanity.
I know. Okay, I'll read. What version are you? King James?
I'm reading ISV. No, International Standard Version. Yeah, it's the easiest one for me to read.
Here we go. We have come to know and rely on the love that God has for us. God is love, and the
Oof.
person who abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him.
This is the pinnacle of understanding
Oh, my
agape.
bad. I have it in my version. I just thought it was already verse 17. That's my fault. That's my bad. That's why
That's
John's better
okay.
at this than I am.
Bro, that's
No,
totally okay.
you did magnificent.
You're killing it.
You are killing it. It's dead. You've murdered it. You've murdered it.
1,000%.
Dude, look at this Bible verse, man. Also, First John is amazing. Shout out to First John. I feel like I'm gonna get tired of saying this every time that we go to like really cool passages. I'm just a huge fan of the Bible. So okay, let me be a nerd about being excited about reading a specific chapter in the Bible. Okay, cut me some slack if you're out there thinking it's like, oh, leader likes all them chapters, all them verses. Well, the Bible is super powerful. Okay. I just went in the church at my church 2 weeks ago through the genealogy of Jesus in Luke, and then I was mind blown understanding the genealogy of Jesus. Okay, so that's me. But this verse, though, this verse, we have to. Okay, this is something that I would tattoo in my forehead, type of thing. Okay, there's quite a few things that are absolutely critical for us to understand. Number one, and I don't want to spoil it, but let's start with that. God is love. What in the world does that mean, John?
God is
How
love. Is that
come
the
God
question?
is love? Yeah.
Oh, so I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were describing the differences between like old Christianity and more recent Christianity, right? Older Christianity, when they talked about God and love, and when they talked about let's use love, right? So when they talked about love, they were coming from the perspective that God was the source of that love, right? So everybody in culture referred to love that way, from that mindset, which is God is the source of this, right? Love isn't just something that exists in its own, it's something that is directly from God, right? Like without God, love doesn't exist, right? More modern Christianity and more modern philosophy is love is a principle and it's a thing that exists in of itself, and God operates within it, right? So there's a difference. What was the question again? I lost my train of thought.
How come God is love? What does that even mean?
Oh, yeah. So, okay, now it makes sense where I was coming from. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's that mindset, right? So, it's changing your way of thinking to God is the source of this love, right? Like, I can't love my wife unless I am actively studying and interacting with God, right? And other believers. Yeah. I don't think I need to go into more detail.
Adrian, this same verse says, if, right? I guess it's it doesn't say if, but I think it's an if type of thing, right? The person who abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. I think it's a condition, right? We can read it that way, right? If you allow this God's love to be in you, then not only will you abide in love, but you'll abide in him and he abides in you, type of thing. This becomes like a true deep hole that we put ourselves into. I wouldn't want to call a hole, more like a castle, more like a triumphant something, right? Because this is the pinnacle of what Christian life should look like, right? God abiding in us, we're abiding in him, in his love. How does that translate to an everyday life for you? Because you are in this scenario, right? You have accepted this. You are living this life. How does that work?
I'm trying to figure out how to answer this. I mean, I don't.
If you'd
Go
like,
ahead, John.
no. I can ask leader a question while you
Yeah,
think of a
sure.
way to answer that.
Shoot.
So let's put ourselves in the shoes of a non-Christian, right, or an agnostic, right?
Okay.
So we have come to know and to believe the love that God has for us.
Mm-hmm.
God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, right? So if someone without a firm grasp of the Bible is reading this and they think that to abide in love without God is abiding in God, would that make them would that allow them to go to heaven, right? So does this Bible
Okay.
verse say that other people can go to heaven without accepting Christ as their Lord and Savior through other
Okay.
religions just because they're
That's
abiding in love?
that's a great question. I believe, first of all, no one can abide in this kind of love without knowing this kind of love. I think it's like you
Mm.
saying, "Hey, I definitely know how to drive a car," or me. I definitely know how to fly an airplane, even though I've never flew an airplane, just because I watched YouTube videos about it.
I've
You
played Flight Simulator.
Yeah, there you go. Play Flight Simulator. I'm great at it, and I can
Give me
take you
my
guys.
pilot's license.
Yeah, please, right? I'm a professional. I think it would be pretty crazy to assume something like that's first. Second, our mind in this flesh, right, that we're in, like this decaying, getting older stuff, wrinkly, full of scars, and the bleeds all day, I don't think grasps and understands the divinity and the amazingness of this grace, his mercy, and his love. And so one must die literally to oneself before even being able to, I mean, you have to humble yourself down so hard, and be on your knees and put yourself down so hard to really understand what his love is like, feels like, and what does it do for your life, that I don't believe that is possible for anybody that has not gone through that to number one, obviously, be saved. I think if you believe but don't, I think it's impossible to believe without have experience his love and experience his grace and understanding it at least somehow, right? um I really don't believe that this kind of love can abide in you and you can abide in him without that. So to answer your question is, I would say no. I think people can, and I do believe this is how majority of the Christians become Christians, it's because they understand that there's a need for that. There's a
Mhm.
hole in their hearts, right? And they're trying to connect the dots through whatever the case may be. Some people do meditation, friendships, they go to psychologist. There's always a way to fill the hole, and I think they are, and I think this is God in His mercy, trying to show them that they need Him, that we all need Him, right? And so I do believe that the human has a natural effect of wanting it.
Hmm.
They definitely don't know it though.
Hmm.
That I'll
Hmm.
tell you
Hmm.
until they open up themselves and they know that. That's my viewpoint. I don't know if I answer it what
I
you were expecting or not, but
I think you're right. I think you're right because it's kind of like a blind person trying to describe like colors to someone, right?
exactly.
Like
Yep.
they can describe like the way that it exists, right? Like lights refracting off of a certain thing in a certain wavelength to create this color, right? But they
Yep.
can't ever truly experience that color because they just understand the principles of it. They don't experience it, right? So
Yeah.
you can't abide in something that you haven't experienced.
Well, I remember even John chapter 3, right, when Nicodemus,
Hmm.
Jesus tells Nicodemus, like, bro, do you understand wind, bro? And you
Mm,
can feel it, right? But where does it come from?
mm,
Where does it go to? Right? And it's one of those things that, even though I believe in wind, I seriously, if you ask me today that we're going through a winter storm, where's that wind come from? I don't have an answer for you. Where's it going? They can't even predict that. Otherwise, they will know exactly whether weather will be 100% of the time everywhere, right? And that's with today's tools and science. And I think it's just another part of his amazing creation, and a way that he shows his love and how he's in control of everything in this world, even. So I agree. I agree totally, John. Hopefully
mm.
that answered your question.
Adrian, do you have your answer for the other question?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I know Leader was asking me kind of like on a daily
Yeah.
practical, like
Mm-hmm.
how do I practice this? I mean, here's the thing. I guess in the practicality of it, um, because I have had God's love my entire life, I've been blessed to know what that feels, and it was kind of up to me as a disciple to practice that love and show it to others. And so, though I fail at it at times, when I do fail, that's when that faithfulness and asking for God to, either give me more love or, whatever, to love on them, or to, that sort of thing. Um and so, like, I don't know if that answers your question, but I basically I put myself in God's love, and therefore, based on this verse, like, love, I'm in this love, and therefore I'm in with God, and God is with me. So I just, try to do that in everything that I do. Like, it just sounds really simple, but I mean, yeah. Leader, you muted.
What up, Eric? I'm taking
What's
this
up, Eric?
opportunity because he's muted to say, hey, what up?
Long time no see, Eric. Glad that you're here with us. One of my pastors explained this to me long time ago and said, living in God's love is like you being a cleaning rag. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, hear me out. When you have a cleaning rag, right, and you're on, say, like a delicate surface, like a glass surface, right, you very gently wipe, right, right, type of thing. Sometimes there's a fly flying through the kitchen and gets on the counter, and then you grab the rag, you go like this, shut-a-bam, right, and kill that sucker. Get it out of the way. Get out of here, right? Sometimes there's grease on the floor, and you got to put heavy chemicals on the rag and really get into it, right? And so
I just use a Swiffer.
You use a Swiffer. Yeah, there you go. Use a Swiffer. And this example that my pastor was trying to say is, I understand that you are that rag and that God is who's controlling the rag, and you gotta go with it. If you get stiff and you don't want to, then the purpose of His love will not be fulfilled appropriately, and that's gonna be on you. So understand how to live. In Spanish, we call it flojito y cooperando, which means like loose and cooperating, always following His grace. And you said it right, Adrian. It's like we are in His here, right? We are inside of His palm right here. He's taking care of us, and all that we got to do is just stay there, not jump off and take off, right? I think you said it perfectly. So, okay, we got one more verse to go. We've run this show so long, you guys. I'm talking about love is a serious series, man. I know. Okay, last verse. Promise you guys, because we normally go for an hour and we're way over an hour. Last thing that we got to understand today. Read it for us, Mr. AI Indelos. 1 John chapter 4, verse 19.
So we love because He first loved us.
So, how are you going to love when you haven't first understood how He loves you? Which goes back to your question, I think, John, right? That you said earlier to me. How can you love if you have not experienced God's love first? So I guess to close the show, my question be to all you guys. Actually, Chris, if you're still here with us, love is look at him. Love, the subject of love. I love that, Chris. I would like to know from you guys very briefly, and we'll do it as a closing comments, right? How did you first found out that God loved you? And Travis, do me a favor, set us a reminder for the Discord, because we're about to jump on Discord. We're gonna go over there. We're gonna pray for one another. We'll be chilling and chatting there for a little bit. And Travis, do your thing. But if Chris, if you're in chat, you guys, the two of you guys, tell me, how did you first find out that God loved you? When was that moment? How did you realize? Do you even remember it? And I'm curious if it's different to all of us, if it's somewhat similar, because I would like to people that don't know what God's love is like, how could it present himself to them, right? I don't know, because I don't know the formula. So, John, how did you find out that God loves you?
Um, there are a bunch of examples in my life. I don't want to go with the first one because it's really boring.
Okay.
Should I?
It's up to you.
Okay. I think the best one, in my opinion, was I fell away from Christ. I moved away from Christ, and I got into a lifestyle that I shouldn't have gotten into. And the consequence of that was I went to jail, and then I got out of jail, and then I was going to go back to jail for a very, 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 very long time because I didn't have the money not to, right? I was losing my car. I was about to lose my apartment. So I was about to be homeless, right? And homeless is very difficult to deal with legal issues, right? So, and I was in that, and the public defender, for some reason, gave my case special attention, and they ended up having this intricate deal and everything done, and this woman ended up helping me for some reason more so than everyone else that she had, and she was a public defender, so she had a lot of work, um, and she ended up saving me from a lot of that stuff, right? So for some reason, this random woman I've never met before showed me undeserved grace, just like God does, right? And I know for a fact that God did that, right? I know for a fact that he used that woman to save me. And it was the first time that I ever really experienced, like, I deserve this punishment. And someone gave me something that I didn't deserve to remove me from that punishment. The day after that, so right after that, I went home to the apartment I was about to get kicked out of, and I fell on the ground and I just cried, and I just cried and cried and cried and cried for a
Yeah.
very, very, very long time. So that was the first. That was probably the first time where I was like, it was a life changing. Like, this was, God has saved me from something that I couldn't be saved from on my own.
Wow. Okay. Well, I almost don't want to share mine. Good luck with you, Adrian. Top of that.
So John, I guess, went with his first. I guess I'm gonna go with the one that had the most impact on me, and that was right after college. It was a couple years after that. Um, I don't want to say that I kind of fell away from the faith, but I was definitely not practicing. And though I was, I had a cross necklace, and I was going to church every week. It was something that was just a check mark. Like, I went to church, okay, cool, like, moving on. And I definitely did not practice what I said that I believed in, right? And so, like, I fell into a life of sin, mainly sin of the flesh, a lot of lust, and when you're single, you're young, you're dating around, that sort of thing. And like, also just like into the temptations of like money, and especially in the world of business, where entrepreneurship, you can make as much money as you want, and blah 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 blah. I basically decided to make myself a god, and I was terrible at it. And the first time I felt God's love was when I felt my godhood crumble around me, and I was angry, and I was like lashing out, like, to everyone, like my family, my girlfriend at the time. I was just very angry, depressed, and just, I was suffering. And in the midst of it all, at the lowest, to where, I won't go like super personal, but let's just say I had some very dark thoughts, to where, like, if you guys are, having thoughts of harming yourself, like, please reach out to us. I've been there. And I was in a very dark place, and I was, you know, contemplating that. And kind of one night, at the height of that darkness, I felt a hushness. Like I just felt like someone like hushing me, and I just felt peace. And well, I don't want to say peace because I was still in a lot of turmoil, but I just, it's kind of weird. It's almost sounding like out of a game or out of a movie. Um, but I just felt like I thought I heard a voice saying like, "You're still loved. You are loved." Like, and it like everything's going to be okay. I don't know if I actually like heard those specific words, but it's what I felt, and it's what I was like going through my head amidst everything that I was kind of like suffering through. And that was when I was quickly reminded, and it was funny because like I was in my bed and I was like suffering, and yet my Bible that I've had since I was in high school, whenever I was going through like Bible studies and stuff like that, was literally in the bottom drawer of my bedside table. And yet there's a reason why it was like buried under there. And for some reason on that night, I was like, you know what? Like, I can't find the answers. I don't know the answers. There's no mentor, there's no supervisor that can help me right now. Like, I am desperate. And so like I grabbed the Bible and I was like, God, like I just need help. And that was kind of like my road to recovery, and that was kind of like my road back to the church. And that was when like it was almost like a fatherly kind of feeling of love, where it's like, hey, like I know you done messed up, Aaron, but like you can come back. Like
Hmm.
it's time for you
Yeah.
to come back. And I'm like,
Um,
okay, I'm sorry.
Big admit to that one. Thank you both for sharing. Mine, I'll try to make it super brief again. We're spill it over. I think one of the biggest one for me is the fact that I'm in the U.S. I come from Mexico, a place full of violence where I got to see people getting killed, kidnapped, houses broken into. Could never go outside at night. Go to Walmart to get a gallon of milk at 9 p.m. was not a thing. You live in a jail. The house that I lived in, beautiful house, beautiful. My parents really took care of us, but had a 20 feet wall all the way around, looked like a prison cell. And it was my desire to come to the U.S. And it's unbelievable to see God used absolutely everything. All the schools rejected me here in the U.S. A&M did, UT did, all UTA did, but UNT, which is the closest one to home to where my brother was, accepted me, and I loved the international program. I wanted to stay, and I was like, God, but I can only stay if you validate 80% of my transfer credits, because I'm not going to go and redo college, right? And UNT revalidates 100% of my credits, where I only had to do the Texas requirement by law, right, to graduate, which is like a semester or two of business law, Texas history, English composition, right? Um, and then job wise, everything, to the point that now I have all, pretty much all my family here in the US living, and we're in peace and in this amazing country. And it was all the little things that God did, which is unbelievable. I don't deserve him. I don't deserve to be here. But his grace and his love I can see every day, and I could see it in every single thing that happened to me. So that's a huge one for me. So I'll leave it at that. Chris, let's see. You had a really good one. It's hard to put it into one specific moment, but when I look back over my life, I can see God had protected me even when I didn't know that I needed to be protected. From around the age of 5 years old, crossing the street with a childhood friend on the way to a school car tried to run us over. Oh, I didn't know that. But God alerted me, and I don't know how, but caused me to grab my friend, and my friend froze and pull him out of the way. At 7, being in Compton, running across the street to the ice truck and getting hit by a car, and we only saw half of your message,
I
Chris.
think he's still typing. So
Ah,
something interesting just happened though. So I guess Russia has, as of 7 minutes ago, started invading Ukraine.
wow.
Yeah,
So
so
really?
everybody should pray about. Yeah, seriously. So everybody should pray about that for the Ukrainians. There's a lot of like serious stuff in Ukraine that people need to pray for. So
Yeah, we need to pray for that. Speaking of which, you guys join the Discord. Travis did the shout out already. Here's the link. I am going to let me see if I can. Oh, can I copy this?
there it is.
Actually, boom,
Rest of
there
his
it is.
message.
Yeah, I'm gonna put up the. Can you? let me put up an actual link so people can, if you're, because this is out of Twitch, but I'm gonna post it everywhere. Feel free to join us, guys. Discord is the app that we use to do this. We're about to jump in there and pray. Download it, and we're gonna be there. Travis is gonna be there. Our prayer warrior is there already. I can see him on the chat getting ready. John is fervently typing into the Discord chat to remind you guys that it's about time. His technique is immaculate. But we love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Shout out to you, Chris. You've been a huge blessing to my life this week. Just know that God used you tremendously, and I'm so happy you were here with us today. Shout out to the rest of you. Eric, it's really, really good seeing you. To all our viewers, thank you so much for watching, whether you're on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. We can't see you guys. Next episode, I may not be able to do. We normally do this Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I may not be able to do it next Wednesday. There is a Hispanic night that I might go out with friends, maybe potentially family to the Dallas Stars. Join us, Adrian, by the way. It's like Stars game, 7:30 p.m. They're gonna give us luchador masks, so that should be super cool.
Heck yeah!
I know.
I'm so down.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
I want one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
So we may not be here next week, but God permitting, we'll see you guys the Wednesday after that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see ya later. The Bible Talk Wednesday.
This is Bible Talk. With your host, Leader, the only one.
Your first loser.
I am closer to be better, to be the best, okay? So cut me some slack.
John's Fumbly.
Boba Fett. Attack mode?
Yep, I see that.
Attack mode?
Yep.
Attack mode?
Yep.
I'm in attack mode right now.
Adrian A.I. Indelos.
I'm a man. I fix things. Cook barbecue and fix things.
This is Bible Talk.